Hey, sports card fans, it's John Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. Last week, I showed off card number 44 off of my 100 cards for $10,000 project. It was a card that I picked up prior to heading out to the Strongsville show. Well, at Strongsville, I picked up card number 45 off of my list. Now, while I showed that card off in some of the recap videos of the Strongsville show, I'm doing this video to further document the progress that I'm making on this project. So I'm going to show off the one card that I picked up, card number 45, and the other cards that I have of that player in my collection, and then go over where I am in terms of how much I spent on the card versus what I thought I would have to spend, and the grand total so far for the 45 cards that I've picked up for this project, and where I am in terms of how much I thought I would have to spend and how much I have spent so far. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show off some cards. All right, card number 45 is this 1960 Topps Yogi Berra. Now, normally I hide the number grade because I want to focus on the card. I'm not doing it this time because, again, I really already, if you watched any of the Strongsville videos, I already showed the card off, so you know what the grade is. I'm not going to really talk about it, but I fell in love with the centering, the registration on it, the solid yellow border down at the bottom, and the red background there behind the black and white image of Yogi. Really like the 1960 Topps design. But yeah, I saw this at Craig and Holly's table, and this was after I picked up the two bigger cards that I did. This was the next purchase. I went back and saw that they had this in their display case, and yeah, just really love this card here. And here is the back, nice and clean, well centered. Even the corners are pretty nice, which, again, corners aren't that big of a deal for me. But, yeah, everything about this card I really like. So I won't spend too much time on it. Again, I've shown this card off in the other videos here. But let me get to some of the other Yogi Berra cards that I have in my collection, and then we'll get back to this card here and talk some numbers, both for this card and where I stand in my project so far. So going back in time, the oldest Yogi Berra card that I have, and probably my favorite, is his 1950 Bowman. That has such great eye appeal for a technical grade of a 2. I absolutely love this. If you're just looking at this here, the centering is great. The corners are not bad. What gives it a 2 is there are 2 minor surface creases on the front. They don't extend to the back. And unless I really point them out to you, which I'm not, you can't tell where they are unless you look at it really up close and at a certain angle, which is how I like. If my cards are going to have creases like this, to have them, a minor part of the card is great. So love that image there. Love the 50 Bowman design, and there is the back. Oh, just love this card. All right, next is a future PSA slabbed card. His 53 Topps. Pretty well centered. I don't think there's many creases on it. As you can see there, a technical grade of 4 Beckett slab. But really nice example there. Back is nice as well. Yeah, some corner issues, but really love the 53. I keep saying I love this set and I love that set and I love the design. There's very few vintage set designs that I don't particularly care for, but great image there of Yogi Berra. Then we jump all the way to his 61 Topps. So a long way to go to even attempt to say I'm even close to completing a Yogi Berra run, although one day I would love to. Love the centering on this one. And again, with these 61s, those two bottom colored areas, I really look for like no fish eyes or print marks, and that's nice and solid. Got Yankee Stadium in the background there. Great image of Yogi. Here is the back. So there's his 61. I have his 62. Again, well centered. I want to say that I picked this up at a New Jersey show where I went to see Wade Boggs. He was signing for a Yankee event, and I think I had an opportunity to walk around the show. It wasn't a big. There weren't a lot of dealers set up there. It was mainly for autograph signing and things like that. I want to say that I picked this card up at that show maybe a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago. And here is the back of that one. Berra's booming bat. Yogi is the first man to pinch hit a homer in a World Series game. Did not know that. First man to pinch hit a homer in a World Series game. Doesn't say what year, but there's the little bio of him there. And next, I don't have his 63, but I have his 1964. This was a card, not this example here, but this is one of the cards that I picked up along with my 64 Topps Mickey Mantle from a neighborhood friend when I was in grade school back in the early 80s. The Yogi Berra that I picked up from that group of cards had so many creases. It would probably barely get a 1. It's in pretty bad shape, but this one is a really nice example. Boy, he looks really, really old there in 1964. And of course, he's listed here as the Yankees manager. And then finally, his last playing days card with the Mets as a catcher and a coach. That's a great looking PSA 4. I mean, again, I don't care about the number grade. I saw this card, how well centered it was and everything. Bright colors, nice registration. I'm not even going to think about why it's a 4. I don't know, maybe corners, but whatever. I got it fairly inexpensively, which is nice. And it's a great looking card. So there's his 65. All right, let's get to the numbers here and we'll wrap up this video. Okay, back to the 64 card. In fact, I'm going to grab this here. If you're not familiar with this, this is a stand that Don of Don's Field of Dreams cards made for some YouTubers, and he sent one to me. So I'm going to set that Yogi Berra there as I talk about the numbers behind this project, because I always I want to share along with you where I am, because the goal is when I put this project together was not to spend $10,000, but to pick up the 100 cards and spend as little money as I could in picking those 100 cards up. So on my list, when I put my list together, I actually had this Yogi Berra on my list in a PSA 5. Now, I didn't need a PSA 5, probably would have been happy with a PSA 4, but I saw this copy, really liked it, and I think I got a decent price for it. Now, when I put my list together, I thought I'd be able to pick up a PSA 5 for $100. Well, I ended up paying $110 for it, and I'll explain why here, where current values for PSA 5s of a Yogi Berra from 1960 Topps are going for. So, $10 over my budget. Most of the cards that I've picked up on my list, I've been under budget, but occasionally, again, I'm willing to pay a little bit more. I love this copy here, and I think it's well worth an extra $10. All right, so how did I do regarding current prices for PSA 5 copies? Well, based on VCP sales data, the low end of a PSA 5, they're going for $71. Most likely off-center copies, maybe some print marks, surface issues, things like that, maybe sharper corners that this one has, but a technical grade of 5. On the low end, $71. On average, $99. Not too bad. And on the high end, $126. So when I was at Craig's table, we looked up comps. I think he originally had that card for, I want to say it was $120. So I got him down to $110. So he was at the higher end of comps. I think well worth it given the eye appeal of that card. But I was able to get it lower than the current highest comp for the card, even though it was $10 more than I had it on my list. So was under the current but over on my initial budget, but that's fine. All right, so for 45 cards now, I'm quickly approaching halfway on my project here, but at 45 cards, I originally thought I would have to spend $4,225 based on the number grade I assigned to it and the price at that number grade. Now, again, I've dropped down in some cases like 2 number grades to buy a card that I really like and I could save money. So for the $45, I've only spent $2,320. So I'm to the good $1,905. So even though my savings went down a little bit by $10 for this purchase, overall, I think I'm doing really good in picking up some great looking cards and saving money in the process, either by getting a good deal for the particular number grade or dropping down a number grade or two to get something that's a little bit more budget friendly, but still a nice looking card. So with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.